has been 2 weeks since the Emperor requested the Countess's presence at the Imperial City. The Emperor would like to know, no, he demands to know, why the Countess has not made the time to attend. As you can see by my own presence here today, it's absolutely imperative that she does.
I am sorry, Lord Chancellor. I will make sure the Countess learns of the urgency to attend.
One might begin to think the Countess is avoiding her duties to the Empire. One might think Lady Sigyn has become the Countess-in-waiting, while her daughter...
Enough! Lord Chancellor, mind your tone and manners. Please inform the Emperor the Countess will be forthcoming. I shall personally make sure she attends as soon as possible.
Please do. I would hate to have to find and escort her to the palace myself. I think you understand the gravity of this needless situation only too well. You have 1 week from today to comply. Good day, Lady Sigyn.
Well met.
Case of
Dragonborn!
chickens killed by a dog.
We have an obligation to protect and serve the descendants of Morgan of Winterhold. Lady Sigyn is in parley. Come, we can wait in the cabinet room.
No one's paying back, my lady. That's a lie. He's let them chickens run round wild. They came over my fence, my lady.
How many chickens are we talking about?
That'd be 6 chickens, my lady. Worth 6 septims, they is. It ain't my faults, my lady. I ain't got no 6 septims. Me auntie, she recently hurt her elbow.
Enough! Jimmy, listen to me carefully. If I hear of your dog again, it will cease to be. Do you understand?
Yes, me lady.
Malisam, take 6 septims from the court purse and compensate the plaintiff.
As you wish, my lady.
Let me guess. I'll just sit here, like a good doggy. Yes? Did you want something?
Dragonborn! Thank the gods you came! How many years now? Well met. She did write you, you know, but we could never find you. She's fine, you know Rigmor. When we first arrived, it took some time to get used to our new lives. She didn't take too well to living here in the keep. Our old house is now her apartment. I have been left to attend to the more mundane courtly duties, with the help of court advisor Malisam and Master Freathoff.
Ah, Guardian, alive and well. I am so pleased to make your acquaintance once again. I seem to have this preference for cold, wintry places. We feel right at home here, don't we, Khaos? Please let me introduce you to Master Freathoff, a scholar and court mage to the Countess.
I have heard so much about you, Guardian. It's good to finally meet you at long last.
Come, let's sit. Help yourselves to refreshments. Well met. Martin Blackwell, Lord Chancellor to the Emperor.
A very dangerous man, Guardian. He heads a very secretive and powerful spy network. Former Lord Chancellor to Titus Mead II, and now does the bidding of the new dynasty. His loyalties lie in the sworn oath to protect and serve the Imperial throne, no matter whose behind rests upon it. He became bitter after failing to find Titus Mede II, leaving a rather long and bloody trail behind him. He blames the Dark Brotherhood and utterly crushed the underground ring here in Cyrodiil. But he is cruel and devious, and we have good cause to fear him.
Before he can be coronated, the Emperor needs Rigmor to sign the noble decree.
Yes. Our bandit king is to bestow upon himself the title of Titus Mede III. Rigmor has yet to sign it, but to do so she would have to enter the nest of vipers. I cannot be sure whether they know of Rigmor's true ancestry. If they do, she would be considered a pretender to the imperial throne.
Sethius is a common bandit. Although very powerful, he is no noble. As far as we know, Titus Mede II left no living heir. As the noble houses of Cyrodiil bickered and argued, Sethius took the throne by right of combat, as Titus Mede I took the throne from Thules 200 years ago. Rigmor's ancestral link to Titus Mede I puts her in grave danger if Sethius were to find out.
If all she does is have to sign this document, so be it. But we cannot let her go alone. However much I hate what has happened to Cyrodiil, this bandit king becoming emperor by right of combat, we cannot change that, and don't want to. When the war happened, Sethius sent envoys. We told them Bruma was a free city. We wanted no trouble. I didn't want a repeat of what happened to Leowyn.
It was virtually razed to the ground, half the populace put to the sword in a shining example of the ruthlessness of our new liege. All the nobles, including ourselves, took a chance of amnesty, laid down our arms, and signed the white gold settlement of the year 203 of the Fourth Era. We were left as a free city only until recently. Cepheus now wants us to sign the noble decree as well. Apparently he needs it to legally become part of the Mede dynasty. Bruma is, after all, part of Cyrodiil and the Empire.
He was always causing problems here in Cyrodiil. After the disappearance of Titus Mede II, his bandit army grew so big not even the legions could contain it.
His army would attack and plunder at will. The imperial court, in absence of the emperor, sent for General Quintus Vitalis of the Northern Army. By the time Quintus arrived, it was all but over. Cepheus had marched into the imperial city with some 5,000 men. Quintus could not cross the bridge.
The imperial court surrendered the city. Quintus was sent with the Northern Legion to the Hammerfell border to protect Anvil, effectively stopping Red-to-Guard nomad bandits from the Brenner River area. You see, Guardian, now there is peace in Cyrodiil. What was destroyed is being rebuilt. There are no raids and attacks on the counties anymore. The bandit army became overnight the new Imperial army. Our only concern is Rigmor's welfare.
Your reputation goes before you, Dragonborn. Everyone knows of the defeat of the New Order and Alduin. But by her nobility, Rigmor is now caught up in this ridiculous power play. We just want her to sign the document and return home. But as Jonte says, if they know, she might not return at all, and we cannot risk the chance that they do. Well met. If only I knew. I'll let Jonte fill you in on the current situation with my daughter. I must apologize, Dragonborn. I'm so tired and must retire. Once you've finished here, Khaos will show you to your room.
Ah, yes, the errant countess. Rigmor is a lore unto herself. I had hoped she might someday take responsibility for her newfound position, but it's not going to happen anytime soon, is it? Really? I'm afraid. You could put it that way, Guardian, but she seems happy when she does grace us with her presence. Of late, she's been spending her time between the Tap and Tack Ale House and the Roxy Inn. The latter is a mile south of this side of Lake Rumar. If she does frequent Bruma, she abodes at her apartment behind the cathedral, 5th house along from the inn in the lower quarter, or the Tap and Tack. You might try there first. Ask about. She keeps unruly company, and of late has been in the company of Count Leowin's son, Robert de Medalius. After the sacking of Leowin and the murder of the Count and his family, Cepheus placed one of his trusted henchmen in the Count of Leowin's place. Robert is his son. Sigun and I tried to advise Rigmor that he is not of noble character. We had hoped to match her with the Count of Coral's son, and she took absolutely no notice whatsoever, and did as she always does. Her own thing, essentially. Guardian, as long as she's happy, or as happy as can be considering her traumatic past, we are happy too. However you feel or felt for Rigmor, and I do know you became close, you were, after all, a guardian. Time moves on. But there's something else. Ariel Cepheus is a weak emperor. He is not the true power behind the throne. If it were a simple case of escorting Rigmor to the Imperial Court to simply sign the document, I would have sent an escort from the Bruma garrison, which would have sufficed. As you know, as a disciple of my beloved mistress, I have certain privileges and insight, and there is indeed a very real concern Rigmor would be in danger at the court. We believe Cepheus' wife is a daughter of Cold Harbor.
Rumors are she is 300 years old, yet her skin maintains a likeness akin to that of porcelain.
We believe she is behind Cepheus' rise through the bandit ranks, and ultimately responsible for the usurpation of the Imperial throne. Yes, a vampire. My mistress thinks so. As far as we know, she is never seen in daylight at all. I think Freofoff is better informed to explain further.
There used to be, many years ago, but it stopped all of a sudden after the catastrophe.
Continue, Freofoff. It's all right. You have nothing to be ashamed of. Freofoff was tutor to the former Countess of Bruma, Guardian, and can also explain the terrible manner in which the position became available.
For many years I had served the former Count and Countess of Bruma, and schooled their only child, a daughter, in the ways of nobility, etiquette, and mathematics. The Countess lost her husband in a riding accident when... I can't bring myself to say her name. One night, Sophia just disappeared. Oh, how we searched. I never gave up. But as the weeks turned into months, the poor Countess became withdrawn. She lost the will to live and died of a broken heart. When Milady Rigmor arrived, she told me all about what had befallen her in Skyrim, how you had rescued Sorella, how a similar thing that happened to Sophia happened to Sorella. That she too had bad dreams, heard voices calling her. I wish I had taken more notice of the poor child. That you rescued Sorella after an encounter with a coven of witch devils, and that they believed that the flesh of restored their youth. Excuse me. After investigating the disappearance of children in Cyrodiil, it stopped altogether about the time the coven was destroyed. Sophia was the last. I fear I must too retire. Recalling this terrible event has taken its toll.
Oh, no doubt at all, Guardian. Rigmor's arrival saved him. They get along very well indeed, and she is rather fond of him. She rarely speaks to me, though, or her mother, if she does come to the castle. She thinks we meddle too much in her life, but she will confide in Friafoth. There must be more to this, a dark set of events, Guardian, something that eludes us. To have such powers of recalling, it all ties into my suspicions, but Cepheus is not an uncommon name. We could, of course, be completely and utterly wrong. I'll have to conduct some investigations. Hammerfell would be a good starting point. After all, a brood mother must have a brood, and fledglings cannot help but make a lot of noise. I would advise you to rest for a while. If there are more sinister reasons to what's behind the Imperial throne, it certainly won't be anything to do with a young errant know-it-all. But we can't take the chance they know of her ancestry. Keris will show you to your room. I must bid you good night.
Well met. Follow me, Dragonborn.
What is it? I have been so bored. I never thought I'd want you so bad. Oh, I mean, want to see you?
Well met. well met. You know her as well as I do. Why does he concern you? Dragonborn, it's been a long time and people move on. She did try to write, and it was hard for her to let you go. She depended on you. She loved you with all her heart. But now she is happy again and is finding her own way, however that way may be. If you really love her, really in your heart, you will accept her how she is now. Rigmor told me she was intimate with you. But you must let her go, and gods forbid you tell anyone. You must never tell anyone. Not Malasam, Sigurd, no one. It doesn't work that way anymore. She's nobility, and she is with Bobby now. Yes, Robert. He really is a nice, charming man. He tries. Although she can be a handful, he's good for her. He cares about her. It's going to be hard for her when she sees you again. Please don't ruin it. Go to the Tap and Tack and speak to Colin. He's the barkeeper there. If there are any rumours to be had, he is the one to talk to. He might be able to help you. Failing that, take this key to Rigmor's apartment. If she's not there, you might find some clues as to where she is.